Here we go. And Johnson gets the side out from that point. Able to hit the four-shot volley very deep into the court. Frazier unable to respond. And Frazier gets the side out right back. It was a great get by J.W. Johnson. Frazier hit a short angle backhand volley there. Johnson able to get it on the extension. But Frazier just kept the ball in play long enough. Johnson sails the drive from the baseline. 0-0 here early in game 1.
0-0.
And that's going to be the first point of the match as Johnson's return flies long.
9-0.
The backhand drive from Dylan Frazier, just a bit too low, not able to get over the net. Johnson takes over.
0-1. Low. Too high.
And that's where the new serve rule comes into effect. The ref calling it too high at the point of contact. And another backhand falling into net for Frazier. We'll see if Johnson tries to adjust the serve here to make it legal. Gonna have to make contact below that waist level. And able to right the ship there. Missed return makes it 1-1-1.
1-1.
And Johnson with the nice passing shot down the line off that forehand. Doesn't utilize his drive a ton, but when he does, it's very effective.
2-1.
And the shot down the line, called out, hard to tell. Very close. It's going to bring a side out. Frazier serve. And Johnson had the backhand volley there, just flicked it a little too long. Going to give Johnson the point. We're tied up at 2. And the first kitchen battle we've had in this match so far. A little cat and mouse. Frazier getting the better of Johnson. Gives him a slight lead, slight edge here in game 1. And the missed volley there gives Frazier a 2-point advantage, 4-2.
4-2.
Dylan Frazier able to hit the short angle on the backhand. That's a clean winner, folks, cross court. As J.W. Johnson makes the long walk behind the seats to grab the ball. Now down 2-5 in game 1. Again, folks, we're out here in Palm Springs, California. Yes. I can hear you.
8-4.
And here we are at the PPA Hyundai Masters, powered by Invited here in Palm Springs, California. I'm joined by Dave Weinbach, senior pro.
Well, great to be with you here on a windy morning here in the desert. Was looking forward to this matchup when I saw that this was going to be the first match of the day. You know, these guys have played a lot of singles, and we all know they partner in men's doubles. And I was texting with Dylan early this morning, and he said these guys have played many, many times in singles, and he wouldn't give me what their record was. But I think Dylan is 22. I think JW is 21, and two terrific competitors. So they always have close matches. JW, I think, has the edge in singles over Dylan, but such fun matches to watch with these two.
For sure. Very excited for this matchup. Yesterday, Dylan Frazier had a tough match against qualifier Patrick Kaka, went 3 games. And what a match it was. Had to really fight to get through here.
And that just sails long here from J-Dub. Oh, and a freebie there for Dylan. So Dylan going for a little bit extra on some of these serves. You know, with the new serve rule, I was talking to the players yesterday in the pro tent. Some players are not adjusting well to it, and some very comfortable. And another missed return by J-Dub will to
the official ball of the PPA Tour.
Court at the PPA Masters. JW Johnson taking on Dylan Frazier, game 2 here.
And there, we were just talking about the serve wheel. There's another illegal serve by J-Dub, just too high. So you have to drop the ball out of your hand and come from a low to high motion from below the waist. And Dylan Frazier really feeling it right now, on fire. Took that first game and is looking to close out J-Dub here. This is a best 2 out of 3 games to 11, of course.
And that return sails long for J-Dub. Gives Dylan a 2-0 lead here in game 2.
Good hand battle there, and you know, J-Dub kind of has a reputation of a great singles player. I think Dylan Frazier doesn't get enough credit on what he's done with his singles games over the years. You know, Dylan does not come from a tennis background. He doesn't come from a racket sports background. So I was really fortunate actually to give Dylan Frazier his first pickleball lesson of his career about 5 or 6 years ago. Dylan is from a rural town called Columbia in rural Missouri, and he came into St. Louis, where I was doing a bunch of clinics and lessons, and I met him and his parents and a friend of theirs and had a great time with Dylan. And I could tell early on that this kid just had incredible potential. And he really focused his career early on the double side. It's only these last 2 years that he has really picked up his singles game to where he's a major force will on the PPA Tour in pro singles.
And we're seeing that potential come to fruition here in game 2. What a drive by Dylan Frazier off the forehand. Makes it 4-0 here early.
J-Dub having trouble reading where Dylan's going off that forehand pass.
And a much needed side out for JW Johnson right there. I got a question for you, Dave. So a new rule that they're implementing with these balls is that after every game it's a new ball. Of course they're playing with the Vulcan, but now you're playing with a whole new ball at the beginning of every game. How does that affect you as a player? Any extra considerations?
Yeah, you know, I'm getting a lot of questions this week, both online and in person, about this new ball, and I really like it. You know, the way I'm describing this new ball, well, let's talk after this point. And that just sails wide, correctly called there by J-Dub. This new Vulcan V3 ball is like a combination of the Franklin and the Dura. It's a little closer to the Dura in terms of its hardness of the cover versus the Franklin ball. But a very, very playable ball. I actually liked it a lot more than I thought I would when I first came here and warmed up the other day. And the players are really gravitating to it. And it's a ball that maybe doesn't have as much longevity of some other balls, so it does get out of its roundness a little bit. And I think that's why they instituted this rule of going to a new ball at the start of every game, which I think the players are loving. But I really like the ball. Very playable, very true. I'm really surprised to see, Will, so many what I call freebies from J-Dub missing. Returns of serve. You know, in singles, there's much more of an emphasis on serve and return. And you just can't give your opponent freebies like this.
Of course.
And I think that was the major difference in game one.
Right, you didn't have time to have that many points really develop. It just felt like a lot of them ended way too soon with those errors.
And there, J-Dub just went for too much of an angle. He didn't really need to do that. I think he had that pass, and really windy, blustery conditions early this morning. I woke up at 7 to get some real work done, and the wind actually woke me up. And it's really calmed down now. We're at about 11:15 local time, and it's going to be a gorgeous afternoon here.
Will be a very nice afternoon. They did have to delay play for about an hour.
Close eye as this day progresses on how these players do, both downwind and into the wind in singles and in doubles. And there's a good example. That ball got to Dylan much quicker than what he expected, because J-Dub obviously got out on the serve, but the wind pushed it right into Dylan's body.
Of course. Of course, that wind is certainly playing a role here early.
Really good return there by J-Dub, getting that ball deep in the court, downwind, putting a lot of pressure on Frazier. And that serve clips the net is going to be a fault here. So Dylan gets the ball back, trying to take game two and close out J-Dub. And that's going to help his cause.
Misreturn from the wind just flies a little bit long. Seen a lot of those today. And a chance for J.W. Johnson here to maybe get some points, put a run together, and try and close the gap here in game two to try and force a decisive one here in the round of 16.
Really good anticipation there by Dylan, leaning to his left, expecting that backhand, and hit a terrific punch volley winner. So he's going to get the serve back, serving into the wind at 6-2. And that's going to sail way long. Downwind there.
Hard to speed the ball up when it's below the net like that. Definitely had pressure with Dylan at the kitchen. Tough to create an angle off that. Had to go down the line.
So he's 4 points away here to make that 3. A little bit of a surprise to me. I expected this to be a really, really close match, potentially go 3, but it's not looking that way with JW giving so many free points to Dylan in this match. these two very, very, very close friends, probably the closest friends on the whole tour in terms of each other, and probably not super easy to play against each other. But you know, when you compete in sports, you got to put that aside, and you just got to play and compete.
And it's funny, of course, they're friends, also doubles partners, so they really know each other's strengths and weaknesses. You know, those translate in different ways from doubles over to singles. But an interesting dynamic here. The singles match between the two doubles partners as Frazier drops a serve into net. We'll see if that's going to give J.W. Johnson any sort of momentum here to try and turn the table.
Yeah, when Dylan let that ball out of his hand, the wind actually blew it to a point where he totally mishit the serve. And that's correctly called long, so J-Dub, as you point out, trying to build some momentum here and get back in this match, and that is not going to help his cause.
What a way for Dylan Frazier to kind of locate that overhead middle of that point, because you knew the wind was going to have an impact on it. Just kept it in play, was patient in the kitchen. Now it's match point. And that's going to do it. Dylan Frazier takes